My name's Kizza Saddam. I'm the Finance and Publicity Manager, Uganda Youth Society.
My name is I'm called Saddam Hussein Kizza, working as a Programs Manager for Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights.
I'm called Kenneth Kugumaho Kabshenga. I'm a youth activist, but basically on environment.
Two viewers. I'm by the name Ismail Hassan, the Assistant Programs Officer.
Nambi Maureen, I'm the IT personnel of Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights.
I'm called Buwande Antone. I'm the Executive Director of Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights.
My name's Kizza Saddam. I'm the Finance and Publicity Manager, Uganda Youth Society. The issue today is about climate change. First of all, before I continue, I would like to thank the German Embassy for this project, for helping us as the young people, the young generation of Uganda, to make sure that we protect the future of our climate in our country. And climate is affecting many countries, especially. Today, you find people cutting down forests, people building in wetlands, but we are destroying our country. It's generating waste with a lot of diseases, with a lot of accidents. But it's our right as a generation to create a future that will sustain our country and the world at large. Climate change. We at Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights plant a tree today. True. Plant a tree today. 35 million Ugandans, 35 million trees. Good. Uganda Youth Society for Climate Change. The German Embassy is an embassy that has led with example. It's an embassy that is there to empower the young people to protect the future generation of the country and the globe at large.
I'm called Kenneth Kugumaho Kabshenga. I'm a youth activist, but basically on environment. Our history as Uganda has been so beautiful. Of course, majorly we have had green all over the place. That is stretching back way in the 1960s. But again, we realize that our history has changed because of environment. It has changed because we have lost the green that we've had in the past. You look at the forest we used to study in our history, in our ISST, it all changed because it is non-existent. The small remaining one, which is Mavira Forest, is also still existing, but again, it is not existing, if I can put the statement right. You look across the cities, we don't have the trees. The few that we have been planted by a few gentlemen and young men like us. So what do we have to be doing about this environment? The youth have sat back. Uganda has sat back about the environment. We are living under the scorching sun in this very environment. We look at our economy has changed. Our agriculture has been burnt down because of the poor environment system. Our drainage systems are bad. The pollution on the environment itself, the soils have gone bad. You look at our lakes, they have been polluted by the industries that we are bringing by ourselves. What are you trying to do as the citizens of Uganda? That we have caused the breaking down of our environment. And therefore, we are sitting back and not doing anything about it. We, the youth of this particular organization, are coming out strongly and saying, let's do something about the environment. Let's change it. Let's plant the trees. Let's bring back what was lost. Let's bring back the glory. If the environment has changed, then the human race is going to completely go away. I am stating clearly as the activist on the environment that we together, the youth with the German embassy, are not sitting back, and we are going to make sure our environment is much better. We must maintain the green so we can have back the rains that we've had in the past. Of course, if you cannot realize, we are not having the rains we used to have in the various seasons. Now, I conclude is first of all thank the German embassy it has led by example. Of course, we have quite a number of embassies in Uganda here. But again, an embassy that works with the youth in Uganda is the embassy that is supposed to be living the future, or realizing that the youth have to live for the next future, for the near generation. Small action, big change.
My name is, I'm called Saddam Hussein Kizza, working as a programs manager for Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights, an NGO which is a non-for-profit organization. I want to share with anyone who is watching. Climate change is a global issue, it's a reality. As previous as I've attended the conference in New York on tackling sustainable development goals, but I can assure you that one of the interesting and which most youth are very ready to act on, it is SDG 13, that is climate action. So many people think climate change is far away from being a reality, mostly in Africa, where I've been going to different districts in Uganda and they are telling us they are tackling an issue which is not our problem, saying that climate change is a Western world issue, but not an African or Ugandan issue. But I can assure you it is an issue. Maybe to give a small statistics, I can tell you that in Uganda, we've experienced one of, actually 2015 was one of the most hot, 2015, if you relate to other previous years. So that is a challenge as a country. But also we understand that in carbon emission, Africa generates the least carbon emissions. That is one cubic centimeter, 1 cubic degrees, kind of that, in those measurements. Yet in China they generate 9, in the USA they generate 10, Europe it's 3 per each.
Nambi Maureen, I'm the IT personnel of Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights. I handle all the computing techniques of the society. I don't want to lag too much about climate, but still, if it's climate, whether it's what, still computing is included. When you talk about climate change, people think, how does computing come in from? I also ask myself, but when you analyzing the climate, when people come to like the forecasts, the what, still they have to include the what, the computing, because it's with the computing, the computing department that go around the computer and decide what. So we determine the climate change to the what, the use of the what, of the computers, the information technology, the system, whether it's analog, whether it's digital, still as long as it's computer, we still can handle the climate. To say, but allow me to thank my the Executive Director, Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights. Please guys, let's stand up and fight against climate change.
To your viewers, I'm by the name Ismail Hassan, the Assistant Programs Officer, Climate Change, and in charge of partnership with the Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights. Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights, small minds, big action. We used to hear climate change as myth for the past decades. People used to talk about climate change, climate change, climate change. But are we living to reality? Yes, it's real. Leonardo DiCaprio said, it's the responsibility of the current generation to make things right. And we at the Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights are coming up to we are forced to move out of Kasese because of climate change. And is this still a myth? Global temperatures have increased. As 2015 was recorded, the month with the highest temperatures ever recorded in history. But still we are here just keeping quiet and let it go. We need to take responsibility, we need to do actions as regards climate change. Let's work out so much to break out our footprints, to mitigate the effects of climate change. Since if we don't do it right now, no other generation will come forward to do it. So we're not sleeping. As you observe this, a lot has been going on, and you have seen a lot going on. From trees being cut down, to lots of poor waste, to lots of fossil fuels being banned, from different vehicles. But we still sit down and let our actions just go down. But today, we urge you to take keen action towards climate change, plant more trees, advocate for a green economy, put your governments into tasks, all stakeholders, that climate change is a disease and it's reality. Let me give an example of the Arctic. More than 8,000 lakes have so far been discovered. Why? Because the ice caps are melting. Look at Uganda. Still, Kampala city sometimes a month ago had floods all over, with vehicles being submerged in floods. So dear fellow youth and countrymen, let's take action and fight so hard to mitigate the impacts of climate change. Thank you.
I'm called Bwande Anthony. I'm the Executive Director of Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights. With me here is a team that makes things happen at Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights. And like I will note later on, I'll be commending them for the effort that they've put in to make sure that this project succeeds. But before that, Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights, young people through 4 main programmatic areas, where we create within the communities, all that is involved. We at it's why climatic change, because we identified a very big gap, that there is actually a very big gap on climatic change within Uganda and indeed globally, and we realize that it's an area where young people have not been engaged. The young people lack information. The young people have not involved themselves in the efforts to tackle climatic change, and well aware that we own the tomorrow of this nation, well aware that we own the future of this nation. Whatever action is that are taking place today, the action is of deforestation, the action is of littering and dumping, okay? The impacts are going to be felt much more tomorrow, and we are the people that are going to be feeling these impacts. We are the people that are going to be experiencing these impacts, and our children and grandchildren. So time is now, and what we believe in, for us at Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights, we believe in small action is big change. Wherever you are in your individual capacity, we believe that you can do something to tackle this issue of climate change. A colleague asked me one time the connection between human rights and change, because why again? Because he was dealing with human rights, and at the same time we were also incorporating climate change. And I said that these indeed are intertwined. In its actually it is 4th edition, the Intergovernment Panel on Climate Change noted that actually climate change globally is real, and climate change is caused by human-made greenhouse emissions. And the report identified issues of the increasing frequency in heat waves, and natural disasters, the drought you see today, the rising sea levels, all those issues, the deforestation that is fast approaching, issues connected with what climate change, and in a way the direct of human rights, for instance, right to life, right accommodation, to culture, and the people majority of them were taken to Kiriandongo. They cannot now. The young people, it may be hard for such the young people of that kind of background, their identity is Vududa, but they are now in Kiriandongo. So, and we also realize that these impacts are disproportionately felt, okay, majorly by people in disadvantageous conditions, owing to, for instance, their location, owing to their age, owing to their gender, owing to their physical makeup, for for instance, the PWDs, and also it's unfortunate to note that these are the least contributors to greenhouse emissions, you know. So we globally we are recommending as people, as leaders, as scholars, that there must be a human rights-led approach to issues of climatic change, and this was realized in the recent Paris Agreement, in its first preamble on their report on climate change, that government see that their obligation is on climate, on human rights as they approach the issue of climate change. So generally, as I wind up, Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights has been, we've been engaging young people in 7 districts of the country. We've been to Mbarara, we've been to Kisoro, we've been to Fort Potro, we've been to Moroto, we've been all over, and we are climaxing this project, and we have programmed so many more projects to come to be able to tackle and handle the remaining. So I just want to really thank the team that have worked with me to implement this project. I want to thank the German embassy in Uganda. I want to give special thanks to the ambassador of the German ambassador in Uganda for believing in us and for supporting this project. Without them, this project wouldn't have been a reality. Of course, we've realized so many recommendations from the young people that we have with. You know, we've been engaging young people. We have been engaging youth leaders in the local government, in the local councils, youth councillors, the district environment officers, and young people we have come up with coalitions for sustained engagement with information, creating change makers in the community. Those issues pertaining that actually cause climate change within their local areas and engage with us, and at the national level we hope that we shall also be able to engage, for instance, with the available parastatals, the National Environment Management Authority. We have a component about climate change in the Ministry of Water, the Parliamentary Committee on Climate Change, and we hope that this effort will definitely yield the results. Thank you.
Thanks to our ED. So our special thanks has the but small comments. But I think climate change is a global issue. It's a reality. As previous as I've attended the conference in New York on tackling sustainable development goals. But I can assure you that one of the interesting and which most youth are very ready to act on, it is SDG 13, that is climate action. So many people think climate change is far away from being a reality, mostly in Africa, where I've been going to different districts in Uganda, and they are telling us they are tackling an issue which is not our problem, saying that climate change is a Western world issue, but not an African or Ugandan issue. But I can assure you it is an issue. Maybe to give a small statistics, I can tell you that in Uganda, we've experienced actually 2015 was one of the most hot 2015, if you relate to other previous years. So that is a challenge as a country. But also we understand that in carbon emission, Africa generates the least carbon emissions. That is one cubic centimeter. 1 cubic degrees, kind of that, in those measurements. Yet in China they generate 9, in the USA they generate 10, Europe it's 3 per each individual. Please pick this information and take it serious, that if you, the longer we actions and the impacts that are communities. Thank you very much.
It's a generation challenges. And one of the challenges is climate change. Today, you find people cutting down forests, people building in wetlands, but we are destroying our country. It's generating waste with a lot of diseases, with a lot of accidents. but it's our right as the generation to create a future that will sustain our country and the world at large. Climate change. We at Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights, a small action. Plant a tree today.
True.
Plant a tree today. 35 million Ugandans, 35 million trees.
Good.
Uganda Youth Society for Climate Change. The German embassy is an embassy that has led with example. It's an embassy that is there to empower the young people to protect the future generation of the country and the globe at large.
Small actions, big change, just like we say. However small it is, plant a tree, leave the wetlands. However small it is, don't give up. Please join the Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights to fight the climate change.
From me to you, it's a responsibility of the current generation to save the future generation, because no other generation will come over to save you. So from Uganda Youth Society for Human Rights, we are doing this. Small actions, big change.
Yeah, man.
I also begin with a statement: small action, big change. My issue is, as I conclude, is to first of all thank the German embassy. It has led by example. Of course, we have quite a number of embassies in Uganda here. But again, an embassy that works with the youth in Uganda is the embassy that is supposed to be living the future, or realizing that the youth have to live for the next future, for the near generation. We thank you so much, the German embassy. And when we are talking as the youth, we cannot be happy about the situation. That's why some of us are very aggressive when you're speaking, because you're not happy with the condition. Of course, the smile is a sad smile. The world should not take it in good faith. It is a sad smile, but of course you're not happy. So we are continuing to say, please, the German embassy, lead by example, support the youth in Uganda, support us again, so that we continue to fight the vice Africa, and we support our continent. Begin by example to fight the problem. Thank you so much. Thank you for viewing. Wish you the best. May God bless you. Thank you.